Hey guys, I'm going to be doing a few of these problems from the back of your homework. Remember, your homework is just to do these odd problems, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. I'm going to do number 3 for you and with you, but then I'm going to do 2 and 8. And 2 is like number 5 here. These are similar type problems. Notice that we just have opossums in both of them. And then number 1, 7, and 9 are like number 8 down here in the problem. And so I'm going to do these 3 problems, which are good examples to help you do these others. I hope that's going to be enough for you. I'm going to try and be really clear. So as you do number 1, you might look at number 8 and see, okay, what is she doing? Do it step by step with me as I'm doing my problem. Freeze it, and then look at your problem and set it up the same way. Do it step by step that way. I think that will give you a chance to really think about what you're doing. But we're going to start here at number 2. And in number 2, they give me an opossum. This is a triangle, but I'm going to draw my isosceles triangles and all my opossums. So I know right here I have isosceles triangle here. I know I have one here, and I know I have one there. So there are 3 isosceles triangles. And we have 3 opossums. How many degrees do we have in the center of this whole thing? 360. And because this is a regular polygon, I know that each of those pieces is going to be the same. So 360 divided by 6 is going to tell me what one of those is, and that would be each one of these angles up here is 60 degrees. All the way around. So let's color what we need to know. In order to do the area, which is what they want me to find, I have to know my formula. 1/2 the opossum times the perimeter. Well, this is my opossum, this is an opossum, and this is an opossum. Well, they gave me this side right here. They told me that the opossum is 2 square roots of 3. I've got to know what that whole side is. Well, I know that these 2 angles, those 2 sides, there's sides, are going to be the same, because not only is this an opossum, it is an altitude for this isosceles triangle. It is an altitude for that isosceles triangle. And the altitude of an isosceles triangle is also an angle bisector. It is also a perpendicular bisector. So that's how we know that these are cut evenly. So I'm going to draw this triangle that they've given me on my paper. Hopefully it will help you to see me do this. I've got this side here, and then I have a red side, and then I have my blue side. And I know this blue side is half of this whole thing, okay, because it's cut evenly. And this right here is a right angle. We also found that this little angle where the yellow and the red meet, we know this angle up here is 60 degrees. And they told me that this is 2 square roots of 3. All right, so what do I want to know? Well, I've already got the opossum. So in the formula, I just need to know the perimeter. Well, this is the only piece I need to know to help me find the perimeter, because that's going to give me the length of this whole side. If I know this is x2, they're the same. So I add them together and I find the length of the side, and I know I have 3 of those, and that will help me find the perimeter. So the good news is, in this type of problem, you really have just one trig to do if you don't recognize the special right triangle. So what am I going to have to do? Label my H, my O, and my A. Well, here's my right angle. Across from that is the H. Take your finger, put it on the angle that we're referencing, or you can make your arc. And I know that the H and the A are touching that. The O is opposite. So now let's go back up here. And what do I have? I have the A, and I want to know the O. So when I look at my mnemonic, so, ka, toa, which am I going to use? The so? Am I going to use O and H? Well, I don't know anything about H, so I'm not going to use so. Am I going to use A and H? I still don't know anything about the H, so I'm not going to use the cosine. That leaves me with the tangent. Well, I know the A and I want to know the O, so that sounds like a good plan. The tangent, always next to that goes your angle of reference, and that equals O over A. Okay? When I cross multiply, I'm going to get x by itself, and that's going to equal 2 square roots of 3 times the tangent, let's put them in parentheses, of 60. And we could just put that right in our calculator, because now it's calculator ready. So we know 2 square roots of 3 times the tangent of 60 is 6. X is 6. Yay! So let's go back to our original picture now. I know this x is 6. That means this x is 6. What's the length of this whole side now? 6 plus 6, or 12. How many sides do I have that are 12? Well, 3. That's going to give me my perimeter. So to find the area of this shape, I know it's 1/2 the A, which is the apothem, 2 square roots of 3, times the perimeter, 12, and then I have 3 of them. This is 12 and this is 12. So 12 times 3. That's not 0.3, it's times 3. So let's put that in our calculator. I'm going to use the decimal equivalent for 1/2 times 2 square roots of 3. Notice I've got to close the parenthesis under the radical and then put another one, times 12 times 3. That looks just like here, and it's exactly what we want to do. So I know that the area of this shape is 62.3538. Well, they want me to round it to the 10th. That's this place right here. Look just to the right. Is that a 5 or more? Yes, it is. So it's going to be 62. We go up one number when it's 5 or more. So the answer is 62.4. That's the area of that problem. Hopefully that will help you as you go and do number 5. Matter of fact, I think you should do number 5 right now so that that one's fresh in your head. Pause, rewind, look at that video over and over again, see if you can't do 5 now. Now let's look at number 8. Remember, number 8 is like numbers 1, 7, and 9. So in number 8, they give me a radius. Yuck. These are those evil problems that require 2 trig if you don't know your special right triangles. Okay, so that's 1, but we know that that's going to be the same as this one and this one. All of those are 26. Now let's draw our apothems. Okay? And we also, in order to do our area, we've got to know this side. And we know all of those are going to be the same, remember, because that's what we know about isosceles triangles, is that's the altitude of that triangle, of this little isosceles triangle. The altitude is also a perpendicular bisector, and it's an angle bisector. So when we do that, how many little angles do we have up here? 6. 360 divided by 6. That means that angle at the top is 60 degrees. Now I'm going to take and I'm going to put it on another piece of paper so that I can do all the trig neatly. So here we go. Here's number, what number is this? Number 8. I'm going to try and copy the picture just like what we've got here. My hypotenuse is my purple piece, and I know it is 26. My apothem I'm making red. I don't know what that is. Let's call him X. And then my long leg is going to be this, and I'm going to call him Y. Okay? Because I don't know him. That's what I've done here. And we know this is a right angle. We also know this is 60, because in our picture, we know it divided up into 60 degrees. Now I'm going to completely cover this up. We're going to solve for X and Y here using trig. And then we're going to go from there. So where's my H, my O, and my A? This is my hypotenuse. It's opposite the right angle. It's also the longest side. Put your finger on the angle. I'm touching the H and the A. So this is my H, so that means this has to be the A, and that leaves O. So let's solve for x first, because you guys like to do that. So if I solve for x first, cover up the y so you're not thinking about them. I'm going to use A and H. Which mnemonic has an A and an H? The cosine. So the cosine of 60, I'm going to use my pencil here, equals A over H. So x over 26. Okay, cross multiply, I'm going to get x by itself, and that equals the cosine of 60 times 26. Put that in your calculator. And we know that x equals 13. So the apothem is 13. Now we're going to find this yellow side. And so now I'm going to not solve for x. I want to solve for O. I want to solve for y. Sorry. So where do I use O and H? Which function? The sine. So the sine of 60 is going to equal O over H, y over 26. We're going to cross multiply. I know y equals 26 times the sine of 60. Put that in your calculator. Y equals 22.5167. I'm just going to round that there. So that's the length of this side, is 22.5167. Let's go back to our original picture again. So I know this side right here is 21.5167, and the apothem, all these little red lines, are 13. So in order to find area, I have to know the perimeter. We know it's going to be 1/2 the apothem times the perimeter. Well, I know the apothem is 13. And the perimeter is this, but we have to find the whole side, so multiply it by 2. And then, what do we get? We get, let's just round it to 45.033. And how many of those sides do we have? 3 of them. Because this is 45.03, this is 45.03, this is 45.03. So times 3. Put that in your calculator. 0.5 times 13. 45.033 times 3. And we get the area is equal to 878.1. Remember, this problem is just like 1, 7, and 9. Okay? I'm going to do number 3 with you, and this is a homework problem. I'm doing this one because I don't have another example on the other side that matches. But before, we did some of these in class. So they gave me a side here. That makes me finding the perimeter pretty easy, doesn't it? Because now I only have to find what's left in my formula. I now can find the perimeter, but now I have to find the A. So we've got to make our A. I'm going to find the center. I'm going to drop an apothem. And then I'm going to draw the radius. I don't ever need to know the radius, but it helps me to think about my trig function. I've got to know that right there. Well, what's the length from here to here? Well, it's half of 20.3. So this side is 10 square roots of 3. So now we can go and do this problem right here on our paper. Let's draw our picture for number 3. We've got an apothem